Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
My favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast.
Hey there, everyone, and welcome to episode 125 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast. We've got some special guests with us today, but before we get started and get talking to them, let's first up welcome Rossi in the inner west of Sydney, as he so adequately described just before. And of course, we've got Braggy, who is inner west in Adelaide.
East. The leafy
east.
I'll clarify, it's inner outer west.
Inner outer. How are we, boys? How are you, Rossi? You settled back
Pretty
in
good.
from your time away?
Yeah, I kind of have. I think I'm back home and sort of starting to get my sleep back into a regular pattern, I think.
And I haven't seen the turnbuckles coming around for my belt, so...
Don't you worry, they're looking for it.
What about you, Braggy? What's been happening?
Mate,
Hey, can I just say the cricket game, the cricket that you so desperately wanted to get out of last week's episode,
yes,
was like, how can you watch that? It was like 4 million to 97 or something.
Yeah,
Wasn't much of a game.
No, I know, but as long as we're winning, I'm happy, you know. Big one this Saturday, though. We go up the Poms again this Saturday.
Yeah.
So I hope Mitchell Stark runs in and just man-cads one of them straight away. You know, I think that'd be fantastic. That's the sort of thing that could happen with the English cricket side, the way they're going.
Piss
them
off
even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Rossi, I'm going to open the mic to you so that you can introduce our special guests and we can welcome them to the show.
Okay. Who we have to the lead guitarist and the lead singer from Sydney melodic metal band, Pyrefly. We have Andrew, who's the guitarist, and KJ, who is the singer and guitar player as well.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's taken us about 8 years to sort of nail a genre. Like, what are we?
Mate, melodic
League,
death metal. That is a hell of a genre. I love it.
We've been called industrial. We've been called goth. We've been called all sorts of things. But
I actually had to reach out to one of the guys we work with a lot, Dave Balfour, to ask him what fucking genre are we, man? He initially said, I think it was prog hard clown new metal or something like that.
Oh my god.
Covers all your bases.
Yeah, but he said that our strengths tend to lean towards how we use melody. So he calls us modern melodic metal.
It's very good.
Yeah. 8 years. Why is it crisis?
We've been trying for so long to figure it out.
Metal seems to be that genre where it's never in fashion. It's never out of fashion. It just adds new genres to it. Would you agree with that?
And the other thing is that people that follow metal don't care that it's in or out of fashion, do they?
No, that's right.
It's what they like. Yeah.
But it never goes away. It's always there. It's not part of any of the trends. It's just
it's always been a counterculture. It's always been sort of like under the radar.
Yeah.
But it's just persistent.
Well, I mean, heavy metal, it's something that you have to actively seek out. It's not something that's just there given to you, you know, like. As a kid, I was into like all sorts of macabre, weird shit. You know, like I was the weird kid. So I loved like my favorite books in the world were like this horrific-looking Tales of Terror book and this book about night demons and stuff like that. So little 4-year-old me looking at that, I had a Cannibal Corpse cassette. I was wearing black, and I was obsessed with like serial killer documentaries. By the time I was 10, I was the weird kid, and nobody wanted to be the weird kid, you know. Like, so I went through school painting my nails and getting more and more disenfranchised and hating everyone because I was weird, and they all knew it, but I wasn't willing to not be weird. And then I finished school and I went out into the metal scene, and I discovered, oh, I'm not weird. I was just in the wrong basket, you know. Heavy metal is it's weird kid music made by weird kids for weird kids, and it's a community. And because of that, I mean, you're not going to have metal fans that you don't have metal fans that go with the, with the trends. You're not going to get someone who used to like Slayer a little bit. You're gonna see that guy who's got their favorite band carved into their chest.
Yeah, they don't. Metal bands don't sell out, do they? Very rarely. Well, okay, I know it's been a couple.
Selling out or buying in.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
it reminds me of that Tool song, "Hooker with a Penis."
Or that weird project Korn did with Skrillex.
Yeah, that was a dark time. That was a special time, that one.
And I don't think we can ever forget Lulu.
I am the table.
Lou Reed with Metallica. It's right up there with Iggy Pop's French language albums.
That was, again, a very strange time.
It really was. But like, as you're saying about metal being so, like, people have to actively go out and seek it. But when they find it, you find metal crowds are full of people who are really supportive and friendly and comfortable. Scary as hell to people who don't know what's going on, but metal crowds are friendly. They're polite. They're well-mannered. And they're there to listen to the music, not to start trouble. That's what I've always found anyway.
More often than not, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't always find those like inter-band feuds, like well, maybe you do a little bit, but yeah, I don't know what to say. But
there are plenty of inter-band feuds, but they're people who have lost sight of what it's really about.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I had a thought. That'd be the 40th time today.
So Braggy.
Yes.
I know you've always got your burning question.
Yeah.
I always like to find out how it starts, but I mean, you know, obviously you figure out that you're different from all the other kids, but where and when did you first hear and go, that's fucking what I want to do?
Well, I was 4 years old.
Really, that early?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a bit of a glug.
Yeah.
So we'd go up to the shops, but he'd be pissed as a fart. So he didn't really care what I'd pick up. And I saw I can't remember what album it was, but it was a Cannibal Corpse album. It had someone getting ripped apart on it, if that helps at all.
Yeah.
I saw that and went, "Oh yeah, no, right."
Yeah. Isn't that every cover of them?
Yeah. Little kid me went, "Yeah, good. That sounds great." And Dad was like, "Oh, fucking whatever." And then I remember putting it on, and I believe the first song was "I Come Blood." And I didn't know what any of that was, but I heard I heard that raw intensity. I heard the angry guitars, the angry vocals, and little kid me went, "Well, that's going to define me for the rest of my fucking life."
Wow.
Here I am,
Wow.
Yeah.
28 years later.
Chris Barnes, Scars all.
Yeah.
Was there any other music in your family? Did your dad listen to any sort of music?
He loved Hootie and the Blowfish, and my mum thought I was an Elvis fan until I was like 20.
Well, no, on the other hand, my father had his own modest collection of disco albums.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. The disco albums are great.
Yeah.
The Star Wars one?
No, that was that sci-fi one that we picked up. It was like that disco version of the Star Wars theme on it.
I know that track. Well.
How great is it?
It's great. None of this surprises me though, Andrew.
No, but like he had like 3 good records. He had Machine Head by Deep Purple. He had Dark Side of the Moon, and he had Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
Yep.
Fucking love that one.
The chances of anything coming from Mars are a million to one, he said.
Yes. That album must have. I think every household had that album.
Yeah. We had the cassette.
Oh, you had
and if they didn't, they bought a copy of Jerry Rafferty's Baker Street.
Yeah, I think
came
if
out
you went
around
to
the
a
same time.
motel around that era, you open up the drawer, there'd be a Holy Bible, and right next to it was Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that's about right.
Pigeons, Martians, hand in hand, finally.
But I mean, you guys must have had. Obviously, you're listening to other stuff because no one does a cover of Madonna just out of the fucking blue. So
Well, I mean, like most metal bands have our, token silly song.
Oh, you can
Silly
thank
cover.
COVID for that one.
Yeah.
Was that?
You can thank COVID for that. That whole song is just a COVID fever dream. So usually I like to collaborate with the band and whatnot, but with this particular one, I was driving home and the radio was on and I heard that song and I thought, fuck, that bit would sound good with guitars. And then I got home and it was just like a mad scientist, like ripping bits out of the song and then put it together. And by the end of it, my dear partner Janine hated the song. And
it's around the time, like a few months before I got my hands on a copy of Reaper, so I was starting to learn how to record, and then COVID hit and got bored. It's just a big learning process.
Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels when you call my name, it's like a little prayer. I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there. In the midnight hour, I can feel your power. It's just like a prayer. I wanna take you there. I hear your voice. It's like an angel sighing. I have no choice. I hear your voice. Feels like flying. I close my eyes. Oh God, I think I'm falling out of the sky. I close my eyes. Heaven help me. When you call my name, it's like a little prayer. I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there. In the midnight hour, I can feel your power. It's just like a prayer.
Yeah, threw together some covers while we were at it, not demos while we were at it. Which are available on Spotify and wherever you get music.
Plug.
Yeah, please buy our stuff.
Yeah, I like diving outside of the norm, though. I mean, hell, I love metal. I live and breathe it. But the amount of times I've gone to a metal show and it's been that big guy at the front going, "This next song is Kabloo to Shabba Dooba Doo. We are," and it's all really kind of it's lacking this campy quality, like. So I get up there and I like to do the big groove thing, but with jazz hands at the same time.
Mate, I tell you, I put on I listened to this stuff today, because Rossi sent through, this is what we're going to listen to. So I just went from the top and I put on the Baron and it starts up and I went, okay, I thought they were going to be a little bit different. And I don't know when it is, 1 minute, wherever it is. And then I went, hang on a sec. Fucking hell, man.
I was in a false sense of security.
Yeah, I texted the boys after I listened to it. I said, it's like Ben-Hur. It's an epic. Well, it's a rhapsody, really, isn't it? It changes so much.
That's my baby.
Oh, and I thought, when I saw how long it was, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to listen to this, but I was glued the whole way through. So, yeah, well done. I fucking love it.
Thanks, man.
And that's when I started to look up, well, what sort of fucking metal is this? That's when I came across Melodic. I thought, that's exactly right. That's what it is.
It's not like a term.
You found that much quicker than we did.
Don't your ability to read the logos dictate what subgenre you're in, though?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, our logo isn't like just made of like lines punched together.
We didn't dip a tree branch in paint and slap it against the canvas.
Which is essentially what you're looking at. Yeah.
We are.
But I mean, that track has got to be fucking nigh on impossible to play. Like that must be so much rehearsing in that to play that live.
Oh yeah, the rehearsing was nuts for that one. When we started rehearsing it, I couldn't actually sing the verses because like I don't take a break in there. Like it's
Yeah.
and it just keeps going.
For weeks I was handing him, it's like, let's just do it back and forth. Save yourself. You know, let yourself breathe. But he's like, no, I must do this alone.
Honestly, I saw a challenge. And like that's
Yeah.
something that we try and do with each of our songs. Like there's always something for at least one of us to push that line. Whether it be singing a higher note, a longer note, or like, you know, going longer without breathing or playing that little bit faster or what have you.
But just the changes to get them tight must be, you know,
Tricky. Yeah.
tricky. Yeah. Rehearsal. Yeah, people think it's easy to get up there and do shit, you know, but when you get, you know what I mean? They don't realize how long.
We're not exactly Dream Theater, but it's not a 3-chord song. You know?
That band did come to mind, yeah.
But yeah, like you guys, your musicality and your musical ability, like the humility of it, belies your ability. Like you guys take it pretty seriously, right? You both, as I know, like you both work as music educators, or have worked as music educators. Yeah, you're serious musicians as well as anything else. Andrew, I know, can play pretty much anything, the human jukebox. Right? You say a song, throw him a guitar. He can probably, if he doesn't know it, give him a couple of secs, he'll have it nailed for you.
Yeah, play it for me and I'll play it back to you.
Yeah, that's right.
You've heard him doing the Bunnings theme on every single guitar that goes past him.
Oh, yes, I have.
All right, guys, I got to step in. Braggy, it's time for part 1.
Okay. You ready for this first line? I said was up there with some of the best ones I've had.
Oh, mate, you've raised the bar here, so if it's below expectations, you'll hear.
I was born in Macon, Georgia on December 5th, 1932, the third of 12 children. My father was a church deacon and a brick mason who sold bootleg moonshine on the side and owned a nightclub called the Tip-In Inn. How's that for a dad?
That's
pretty
okay.
good. Any idea yet, Rossi?
Oh, Macon Georgia's sort of giving it to me.
Oh, fuck.
I love it.
My mother was a member of Macon's New Hope Baptist Church. I was a mischievous child who played pranks on neighbours. I began singing in church, taking piano lessons at a young age. I enjoyed the Pentecostal churches the most because of their charismatic worship and live music. I remember people in my neighbourhood singing gospel songs through the day during segregation to keep a positive outlook because there was so much poverty, so much prejudice in those days. My initial musical influences were gospel performers such as Mahalia Jackson and Marion Williams. At school, I was a below-average student, but I eventually learned to play alto sax, joining the school's marching band in 5th grade. While in high school, I got a part-time job at the Macon City Auditorium where I sold Coca-Cola to crowds during concerts of star performers of the day, such as Cab Calloway, Lucky Melinda, and my favorite singer, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. That's part 1. Okay. Curly, Rossi seems like he's got it.
I have no idea.
Boys? Nah. Okay.
Nothing. Is it Marilyn Manson?
No. I was thinking about going down that line for you boys, but he's like, you know, I was a messed up kid and then I had the band straight away.
Man. So Andrew, when did you first pick up the guitar?
About 6:30 this morning.
I'm still learning. I can't actually play Don't Tell Anyone. I remember my mum, my sister, and I were out in the city one time. We stopped into Alan's Music on Pitt Street when I was still there. And I was like, hey, what are we doing there? She's like, oh, your brother wants to learn guitar. So, you know, typical little brothers. Oh, I want to do that too. So we both got a cheap acoustic for Christmas, took lessons together. It sort of became a bit competitive. So we were trying to outdo each other. And eventually he dropped off and I just kept going with it. So I was about 14 at the time.
It's always the little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what, you got a fully functioning brain? Oh yeah, take this.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to obsess about it the rest of my life.
I don't know. And what about your first-hand experiences with playing with other people, starting to get bands together? When did that sort of start to materialize?
In adulthood, I was one of the few people in school who actually played guitar, and all the other guys were pop punk and whatnot, and I was more into Metallica and Slipknot and harder stuff, so it didn't really gel, and plus I didn't get along with anyone. Yeah, it turns out you need to be able to form human connections to form. And I just didn't quite get it.
Not these days, you don't. You can do it all at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was limited by the technology of my time. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about playing live, what do you reckon? You guys played. Obviously, you play in Sydney a lot. What's the best metal scene? Is it Sydney or is it somewhere else in Australia?
For the purposes of anyone that we may know listening, it is Sydney.
Okay. Okay. So Sydney and Melbourne are good.
They are.
You guys were just in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
It was great too. There's a band we hook up with down there called Rautism. They're absolutely fantastic guys. They're the ones who keep bringing us down.
Yeah.
Bunch
of fun.
Oh yeah, but the guitar, or not guitarist, the bass player name, he's a really good guy. One of the things that he does that really impressed me is he puts on all these shows, but he never has his band headline. He always has like younger bands that are getting their first shot in. So he's all about bringing people in, and he'll never put himself right at the top of the bill. He's always very humble, and his whole thing is community and connection. And there's a lot of people in Sydney like that too. Don't get me wrong, but you could feel it down there, you know.
Yeah. Plus, we played down there for his birthday, and we were headlining. And he was playing.
Wow.
If you're gonna pull it off, if you're gonna pull the rank, your birthday's the time you can do it.
Absolutely, and I love people who if they get a bit of speed, they help bring people up with them.
I think that's right. I agree.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it's that metal community again by the sound of it, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
None of this everyone out for themselves bullshit. No, fucking help each other out.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
In Sydney, though, like in Sydney, there are some amazing bands and there's amazing promoters. Metal Evolution with Dave Balfour is one of them. Dave, he puts on Steel Assassins every year, which is coming up this Friday and Saturday.
Be there.
Would that be at the Bridge Hotel on Friday night? You're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're playing
Friday night on the 3rd?
Yeah, we're on the 3rd. We play 8 o'clock. But Metal Evolution, what Dave does is he'll have his big bands at the end, but he'll always make sure to have at least one or two absolutely first-time acts. And then, like, every month he runs a show in Chatswood where he gets bands doing their first shows and stuff. It's absolutely brilliant seeing people kind of lifting that community up.
Yeah. And I guess if you're a kid starting, it's, that's a great thing, isn't it? You got somewhere to go and play.
Yeah, kids, that's another thing that's better about the Melbourne scene. In Sydney, there's not a lot of all ages gigs because there's not a lot of venues that cater for it.
Yeah, okay.
So like a lot of the time we're playing for adults, which cool, whatever. But in Melbourne, you've got kids that can go to these shows and discover it earlier. We actually there's one or two in Sydney. There was one that we played recently. I can't remember what it was called, but it was in Penrith.
We've got Ram It Down in Camden as well, which is more of an all ages thing.
But because I'm a teacher in the area, there's kids that I've taught that have shown up to these things as well. These are kids that I know full well are completely disenfranchised, but they've gotten their first exposure to the fact that there's a wider scene that much earlier because there's all ages shows.
Yeah.
And in Melbourne, there's just a lot more of that.
And for those kids to come in and see a teacher they know playing, that would blow their mind.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us more about that. The educating stuff you do. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, I love being a teacher. I never thought I would. I was terrible at school. I was the worst. I failed horribly, and I distinctly remembered my deputy saying to me, "You're going to amount to nothing." It turns out that I got that a little bit wrong. Teenager, selective hearing. So I got a job at the school that I failed at, and she was one of the first people to see me. And she gave me a hug and said, "I knew you could do it." And I'm there going, something's not connecting here. It turns out what she said was, if you continue down this path, you will amount to nothing. But kid brain, I heard you'll amount to nothing and went, amount to nothing, will I? And then I became a teacher out of spite after tanking myself a bunch of times. But no, I was a kid that was never really catered for. Like they didn't understand things like ADHD or how to manage that kind of behavior and thinking pattern. Because you think ADHD kid, you think that kid that screams and pushes the other kid down and runs around the room, but it's an overactive mind. Yeah. So it's missing deadlines because you've overthought it and stuff like that. And I was just never catered to. So in becoming a teacher, I wanted to do for others what I felt hadn't been done for me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. That's great, Kyle.
I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD at a time where Forrest Gump was our best representation of that.
Wow.
We don't know how it works. I'll die this hill. He was autistic.
That is awesome.
It was a world where that sort of thing wasn't really catered to. We didn't have an understanding of how it works. So
I've got bubbles coming out of my fucking eyes.
So like you two were almost destined to meet, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like? What was that like when the two of you clapped eyes on each other?
You know, there's that scene in The Pick of Destiny where they take their pants down, they've got their birthmarks on each other's ass cheeks and bring it together.
It's like,
it's nothing like that, yeah.
There was a lot of butt-to-butt action, but, we met at TAFE.
I mean, ADHD and
we're the Specsavers.
Autism. What other genre are you going to play, really? Except fast and loud.
I walked up to Miller TAFE to do a music degree. It was a Cert 3 or something like that. And this is after trying a whole bunch of things. Like I did trades and I did this and that and the other, and none of it stuck. So then I started doing the TAFE course. I walk in, I look down, and he's wearing like a Megadeth shirt or something like that, and I was wearing a Cannibal Corpse shirt or something, and we looked at each other's shirts and went,
yes,
Friends forever.
People of my people, blood of my blood.
And we've just been
Let us
inseparable
break
ever
bread
since.
together.
It's fucking kidding. Like every step of our lives we've just taken together from that moment.
Oh, yeah, just join at the hip.
So the band is you two guys on guitars. You have a bass player and a drummer. Is it just a 4-piece, is it?
Yeah, 4 bass. Yep.
So
That's all you
our
need.
bass player Trent, he's an absolute weapon. He was that little ray of joy that we needed. He's got Labrador energy, you know. He's just constantly excited for everything, and everything around him is so wholesome.
He's the most easygoing guy.
Oh, so
He's a
easy.
lovely fella. Lovely fella.
He is.
It's like
Yeah,
all
he's-
bass players, Rossi.
Yeah, all of them.
So there's also our drummer Alanis. We absolutely adore her. She's younger. She's we actually taught her in the past when we were at School of Rock. She so like before going into like the school setting, we used to teach it private tuition and shit like that. And Alanis, her mum was a family friend of mine, and we just started teaching her how to play a bunch of instruments, and she really clicked with drums. Come adulthood, she's like, "Yeah, I'll join the band. We needed a drummer." So
yeah, she's a beast on the drums. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Weaponized anxiety comes to mind.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's not the lineup we started with, though. We've gone through quite a few bass players. My ex-partner Alex, phenomenal player, and we split on good terms as well. Alex, if you're listening to this, love you, buddy. And then there was my brother Aiden. He covered bass for a little while as well. He actually joined us in Melbourne because Trent broke his hand.
Right.
So
It's been fun.
Yeah. And before that, we had Robbie and Katrina. Robbie on bass and Katrina on the drums.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Katrina passed away about in 2018, I believe it was. So that's we just kind of started, like we'd been jamming together for about a year, and then we gigged for a year. So 2016 jamming, 2017 gigging. We had the world in our hands at that point, but she had a car accident in
That's terrible.
February of 2018.
Yes, Dad was at our house for about a year. We took our time to sort of deliberate if we even wanted to keep going or what to do from there. And
yeah,
it wasn't until a couple of years ago that we really even spoke about it to each other, to be honest.
Has the music been a bit of a healer in that respect? Has it helped you guys continue playing? And you know what I'm saying?
Yes and no. I think for me, it was very much, there were parts of it that was like having to carry that torch for her because she loved what we did. I mean, hell, like her Facebook page is still active, and her cover photo was still the four of us standing together. Like that's something that's going to be there for fucking ever.
Oh, everyone loved it. Like everyone just absolutely adored it.
Her funeral had like 300 odd people at it, and we played her funeral. We played one of the songs that we did with her.
Oh god, that must have been tough.
Oh man, at the time it was the biggest audience we'd ever had.
But it wasn't until later we realized the way we were standing, like the three of us up front, the casket behind us, is how we stood on stage. As well.
Oh, jeez.
Oh wow.
It was. I mean,
it's very bittersweet.
At the time, it was heartbreaking, but I look back now, and honestly, there was something beautiful about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it wasn't all sadness that day. Some of it was actually brilliant. And I know that sounds bad, but Katrina was colossally late to everything. Everything. Like, it didn't matter what it was. I used to call her up and tell, like, when I was organizing our gigs, I'd tell her that we started or had to be there about 2 hours earlier than we actually had to. So, like, she'd rock up like 2 hours late in her mind, going, I'm sorry. And I'd go, oh, better be on time next time, Katrina. And little did she know, she was perfectly on time.
I'm starting to understand how this music comes about now, because you guys' personalities, it's all over.
Yeah, it is.
Up like 2 hours late, frazzled as hell, or on time, thinking she was too late, frazzled. But on the day of the funeral, I was asked to be one of the pallbearers by a family, which was that was powerful. So we're standing there, waiting for the casket to arrive. The guy's explaining to us what the process is.
Mm.
And then I check the time, and the funeral starts in 15 minutes. But the
No
hearse
casket.
had not arrived.
She's not there.
Late again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The time ticked down, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, like, as it's getting closer and closer to the start time, the smile on my face is growing because I spent years telling her she was going to be late to her own funeral, and then bang.
And she was.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
It was amazing.
All right. So I'm going to put a stop in there for Braggy. Let's get part 2 done.
Part 2. So when we left last time on Who Am I?
With Braggy.
With Braggy, the subject was selling Coca-Cola at the Macon City Auditorium. In October 1947, Sister Rosetta Tharpe overheard me singing songs before a performance at the Macon City Auditorium. She invited me to open her show. After the show, she paid me, and this inspired me to become a professional performer. Before entering the 10th grade, aged just 16, I left my family home and joined Hudson's Medicine Show in 1949, performing secular songs for the first time in my life. Imagine that, Hudson's Medicine Show. That's where I'm going on tour. Performing on the minstrel show circuit, I began listening to rhythm and blues and frequented Atlanta clubs, including the Harlem Theatre and the Royal Peacock Room, where I saw performers such as Roy Brown and Billy Wright on stage. Inspired by Brown and Wright, I decided to become a rhythm and blues singer. And after befriending Wright, I began to learn how to be an entertainer for him and began wearing flashier clothes and adopted a more flamboyant stage persona. This led to a recording contract with RCA. I recorded a total of 8 songs, including the blues ballad Every Hour, which became my first single and a hit, but only in Georgia. I formed a band called the Tempo Toppers before performing as part of a blues package tour in the southern states. But the pay was poor, and after my father died in 1952, I returned to Macon and settled for work as a dishwasher, disillusioned with the music business.
Firstly, I want to say, imagine getting paid for your first gig.
Yeah. You guys know, if you guys have seen, Rossi, you would have Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Do you know who she is?
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, so she played that
all right.
white SG way
right.
back before anyone was playing shit like that.
Great player.
Yeah.
Great player. So you guys, like you've had a long journey to get to where you are, and of late looks, to us outsiders, it looks as though you've just started to up your game a bit and started to just step a few ranks up. Like I see, funnily enough, you've got an Avatar T-shirt on. Now, these guys. So these guys, Avatar are a Swedish, is that correct?
Swedish,
Swedish melodic circus metal band. And their support band blew out a couple of days before. I think it was a skateboarding accident. Someone broke their arm.
While he was moving, the guitarist broke his hand, the poor bastard.
Yeah. So the famed promoter AJ Matter of Soundwave fame put a call out on social media saying, we're looking for a band to open for Avatar, and hit me up on the socials about who you want. And all of a sudden, it seemed to me that every second person in Sydney said Pyrefly. Now I believe they started to get traction. It was starting to get down to too few people. Then apparently one of the members of Pyrefly exposed his Avatar tattoo, and that may have been what got them over the line.
That's the one.
I was very lucky that a tattoo parlor was open that late.
Utopia Music saw the tattoo and went, we got to get these guys in.
It was pretty close. I think it was between us and our buddies in Thraxis as well. Like they fantastic band. I think they got pretty close as well.
I love Thraxis. They're phenomenal. And seeing Thraxis and Pyrefly being mentioned so much on that post was amazing. That said, I would have stepped over my own mother to get that opportunity. So I love Thraxis.
So what was that? What was that like? Obviously, you got a tattoo of these guys. Obviously, you're a massive fan of these guys. What What were they good guys?
Yeah, they were lovely, very professional.
Yeah, very reserved guys. Like not a speck of ego amongst them.
Yeah.
Like they just sort of came right up to us. The bass player sort of shook my hands, like, "Hello, I'm Henrik. This is my wife from Sweden. We've been married for 7 years," and that's all he wanted to talk about.
Yeah. We hung out with the guitarists a little bit before and a bit after the show, and they were absolutely lovely. Very kind, softly spoken.
And we were already massive fans as well, so that was if they turned out to be prima donnas, I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking. Yeah, sometimes you can get
people
that
say
down.
never meet your heroes, but I figure if you've got decent enough heroes, then you can't hurt too much.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that you guys absolutely slayed that night. You absolutely ripped and tore the Metro apart in Sydney. It was fantastic.
And I know fucking glad because the guy broke his hand on the Thursday, and then we played on the Saturday. So that's how much time we had to prepare.
You didn't have time to get worried. You just had to do it.
Oh yeah. Didn't have time to be.
I didn't have time. From the second I got the email from AJ saying, "Can you guys all be there?" I think I screamed it through my phone.
Yeah, you tossed it away like it burned you.
Yeah, I didn't want to look in case I'd read it wrong. But it was all anxiety for me. But it was once we got up on the stage, it was just what we always do.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible crowd. But I mean, my goal is to make it so that whatever audience we have, no matter how big or small, I want it to feel like they can fit in the palm of my hand at the end of the show. So give me 1,000 people, give me 10 people. I'm going to give the same performance.
Please give us 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And will there be any more supporting these guys? Did they these guys obviously play around the world?
This was their first time in Australia in their 20-year career. So hopefully at this point they'll be back a bit more often than that, maybe in 15 years. But yeah, we'll definitely put our hand up again to.
Okay.
But even that band is starting, like they're raising their profile quite significantly globally, aren't they?
Just that day, actually, they got the Billboard #1 spot for one of their songs in America. So
that's a good song.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So
Hey,
Dead and Buried In, was it?
Yeah.
So you learned how to do some recording during COVID and whatnot. So walk me through how you've recorded and released music. So I'm looking at your Spotify things now, and you released a live album in 2022 or a live EP. So walk me through, do you have a strategy about when you're releasing music, or is it just what you feel good about?
We're in the process of trying to get some tracks down to record a full-length album, re-record some of those old songs, just to sort of like get them right now that we know a bit more about what we're doing and how to do things. So we were still learning at the time, so we're just throwing shit at the wall, see what stuck.
I think now generally, I mean, like now that we're at this point, it's about planning. So I'm looking to release the album. Yeah, I'm going to give us a date, so we have to stick to it.
Okay.
I'm looking to release the album in April of 2024. So in the lead up to that, it'll be dropping a couple of singles to kind of build that momentum. My idea is when we release it, I don't want to just say, here's an album, come and look at it. I want people to be waiting for it. So we're going to be doing a lot of promo leading up to it, teasing stuff. And then when the album comes out, bang, it's just touring. And then we'll get another one down the track.
I noticed your socials game has lifted a bit lately. I've been getting quite a laugh out of some of the stuff you're doing. You're not like some metal bands take themselves too very seriously, and that's fine too. But
I'm very serious about goofiness.
Yeah,
you're serious about your playing. Make no mistake about it. But I like the fact you've got an irreverent tone to your stuff you do.
Oh yeah, there's the sense of humor comes across just in the music, let alone what
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a corporate shill, but humor sells, man. Like you put your stuff where your eyes are, your phones, and people they'll see like big things coming soon, or you're not ready for this, and
I take the piss out of the big things coming all the time.
Yeah. But if you
big news dropping.
Yeah, you make fun of yourself. It's it gives you humility. It makes you likable.
Yeah, but you're not trying to be someone else. It's just you that's coming across in the music, which is the whole goal, really.
Even off stage, our goal is to entertain.
Yeah, we're entertainers. It's what we do. So when we're on stage, we're entertaining with our music and our stage show, which we like to be very theatrical and big. And
the jazz hands.
People aren't looking at our socials to see what drama's going on, or to if they want to see when the shows are, they can just look at one post. Whereas like we're entertaining people there too. And we're putting on so I do funny things, like I'll do the big things coming post and then comment on it. Guys, I don't know what this big thing is. Please help. I don't want to look stupid. Stuff like
that. No one's checking out your damn page to see the latest photo of you looking grumpy in front of a brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, lately what we've been doing is on the Instagram stories, I put up a thing, a poll thing, who would win in a fight between Dorky Demon, which was a picture of me from the last show, and Stick Girl, which is our drummer Alanis. And the fans all voted for Stick Girl. So I went, okay, I'll put it on the next one. So it was Stick Girl versus less angry Devin Townsend. Stick Girl won again. So I put her up against...
Quickly got out of hand.
Yeah, no, it got very much out of hand.
Keep going and have to get NATO involved.
I think Stick Girl got defeated today, finally, after going up against heaps of people.
Yeah.
He lost to, let's see. She lost to time management skills.
Oh.
The fans have spoken. I'm glad, because I was getting tired of that bit too.
I just didn't know how to back out of it. Couldn't figure out how to get out of it.
Maybe it's time for Stick Girl versus the Turnbuckles, Rossi.
Yeah. How's that?
Undefeated will always be, have always been.
Two undefeated champions.
We are undefeated.
Time management saved the day first, though. Because much like our old drummer, Katrina, Alanis is fucking awful with time.
But she does. She keeps good time. Just she's not there on time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, she's almost as bad as Katrina. Not quite as bad.
She can play a perfect 120 BPM. You just don't know when.
That's cool.
So guys, who else is some of the bands that are making a bit of impact at the moment in your genre? So whether they're from Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, who else is it that you're looking at that are doing some really good things?
There's a pocket of amazing bands in Sydney at the moment. Although we mentioned before, our guys in Thraxis, they're absolutely fucking brilliant. They're incredibly genuine. Well, I spend most of my spare time talking to them, but their live show is amazing, and they're doing some brilliant stuff. Like, they're all over the country at the moment. Terrorential, another amazing band. A bit more on the death, bordering on black metal stuff, but
it's got a lot like Creator.
Yeah, very creative-ish sound, but they're absolutely brilliant as well. Their live show is, every time we see them, it's getting better and better. Temptress, everyone knows Temptress, but we absolutely love them. They just came back from a European tour.
So we have a Spotify playlist called Pyrefly and Powers that we sort of like do like a song or two from the bands that we like that we've played with.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool. Yeah, you got those Thraxis boys are on that. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I saw that.
We share that around a lot.
That's a great idea, and that's just promoting you. You know, it's good for everyone, isn't it?
I didn't want to just promote my own stuff. I like lifting other people up. Because, again, it's that community thing. But I don't want to leave us out of the promotion as well. So I figured I'll just make a playlist with us and everyone that we like playing with. And then whenever I add another band to it, I'll make a big hoo-ha about it and say, look, someone else on the Pyrefly and Pals list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's the name? You got a black lab and a black cat. I love animals.
This is Spud. He's a question mark. We don't know what he is.
Yeah, he's a rescue dog. He is
purebred good boy.
Yeah, purebred mutt.
He looks like a good boy.
Good boy.
He's absolutely lovely. And there's 3 cats about. So there's Sally, Maurice, and Bruce.
Bruce is currently clawing his way through my gear case.
Good on you, Bruce.
There you go.
Oh,
The other two cats, they're out there somewhere.
they love guitar cases, cats.
Oh yeah, anything they can get their claws into.
I hope not.
Alrighty. So let's do part 3, Braggy.
Righto.
Let's see if we can get this. Hey, so boys, do you have any idea?
Maybe. Like, I don't know too many big names from that. I'm going through my list of characters from Blues Brothers.
Yeah, that could work, but maybe not. Okay, when we left, I've already given it away. It's a he, so back home. It's back home, being a dishwasher. Back home, my love for music still burned. I formed a harder driving rhythm blues band, the Upsetters. The band supported R&B singer Christine Cottrell on some recordings, then began to tour successfully. I met Lloyd Price, who had a hit with Lordy Miss Claudie, and he suggested I send some demos to his recording label, Specialty Records. Months passed before I got a call from the label. Finally, in September of 1955, Specialty Records made contact and sent me to work with producer Robert Bumps Blackwell. Upon hearing the demo, Blackwell felt I was Specialty's answer to Ray Charles. However, I told him I preferred the sound of Fats Domino. So he sent me to New Orleans, where I recorded at J&M Studios with several of Domino's session musicians, including drummer Earl Palmer and saxophonist Lee Allen. My recordings that day failed to produce much inspiration or interest, although Blackwell saw some promise. Frustrated, Blackwell and I went to relax at the Dewdrop Inn nightclub. I got up to play a few songs, then launched into a risque, dirty blues I called Tutti Frutti.
Yeah.
Blackwell said he felt the song had hit potential, but that the sexual lyrics needed to be replaced with less controversial ones. Recorded in 3 takes in September 1955, Tutti Frutti was released as a single that November and became an instant hit, reaching number 2 on the Billboard magazine's rhythm and blues charts and crossing over to the pop charts in both the United States and the United Kingdoms. For some, including this podcaster, it was the birth of rock and roll.
And this one too.
My name is
Little Richard, isn't it?
Yes, Little Richard
Penniman.
Richard Penniman.
I was like Little Richard and James Brown, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Little Richard is the man, I reckon, in my opinion.
I mean, it's impossible to say where rock and roll started, but if you're going to point to someone, it's definitely him and not Elvis.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, a gay guy out of a gay black guy out of the deep south. Fuck, that's just fucking awesome, isn't it? That he starts rock and roll.
In the Living Colour song, Elvis is Dead, Little Richard comes and raps, and it's fantastic. You should listen. He tells the story, and he doesn't miss. I'll tell you, he doesn't miss.
Oh, brilliant.
Elvis is dead.
He's pure rock and roll.
He really is. I love him. Such a cool rocker.
So it's been awesome having you two on the show today. It's been a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Somewhere in there, I'll mix in a little bit of the Baron, and of course, our listeners are probably going to want to hear this cover version from Like a Prayer. So
seriously, listeners, you need to listen to the Baron all the way through, because it's just surprise after surprise after surprise.
Yeah,
and I'd urge a lot of my other mates who would brush off metal and say, "Oh no, I don't really listen. I can't. I don't get it." Fucking bullshit. Listen to this.
So we'll have the links to the songs, the full songs, in the show notes, and of course all the band socials will be there as well. So go check them out. They a lot of fun. But as Rossi keeps saying, serious about their music, but obviously they don't take themselves too seriously outside their music, and I think that's a real blessing there. They're not walking around.
Piece of shit.
We're here to have fun. I mean, if we're not having fun, then neither is the audience.
Yeah, we make air vibrate for a living. Like, what's to take seriously?
All righty. So I'm going to wind her up now, guys. So if you have enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe. Go check out the links to our special guests. No doubt you'll love them. We're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We got a website, unfilteredundiscovered.com. We'll be adding the Baron and Like a Prayer to the Unfiltered Undiscovered playlist.
And Take My Eyes too, Curly.
Oh, okay. And Take My Eyes. I'll add that one in now. Lyrics from the playlist. Now, Rossi, I might need a bit of help here because they are quite deep. It's a nice day to go to the pub. Go to the pub. Nice day to go to the pub. Go to the pub. It's a nice day to have a beer. Have a beer. Down to the rubbery dub. That's the Cosmic Psychos, of course. And of course, that's a song from the playlist. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see. Thanks again, guys. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been wonderful.
And we'll see you, everyone else, next week. See you guys.
See you.
Thanks a lot.